Yeah. Well, I don't have it.
That's why your name's on it. Yeah. Well, if I find it later, Isa, did you do this one online? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 15 out of 50 we did. How cool. 15 out of 50. Freaking go, Sam. I don't know what it is. This was the genetics yesterday. High five.
Whoa.
This is a bag. This is a handful in the damn pocket. Why does it say that? Because he's not on the right path. Why does it say on the right path? I am going back to this. I'm keeping my room back here. Andrew? Brother, no. Let's hand it in, but no, thank you. No, I do not consent.
This is in the handwritten pile, but there's like not a thing written on it. Would that be yours?
Yeah, this is mine.
That's yours?
Yeah, I told you I've written it with like a dead pen because I didn't have any good pencils that I could write good with.
Okay,
You can
well-
see this markings in it.
Okay, so where's your answers though? There's no answers here.
Wrote them. They're in there.
I can't read that.
I'll rewrite it for you and I'll give it back. I'll rewrite it and I'll give it back. So I have a sharpened pencil now, so I just gotta find it. Ooh, that's the way.
Goal. Okay. I have something special to announce. Okay, let's pull up birth control.
It's a miracle. Yeah. All right, so, yeah, you want me to have the mask on? If you want to move back again? You sure? All right, you guys, we did, sexually transmitted infections yesterday. So for all of the people who were not here yesterday, and there's quite a few of you, remember the 4 categories that we talked about? Okay, the 4 categories of infections. Parasitic, yeah, or parasite.
Viral.
Yeah, viral, bacterial, awesome.
Amazing.
Okay, so for the kids who weren't here yesterday, you are going to have to do a worksheet on this after we're done both of them. And so, this is all being really fun. Okay? So, actually, Jesse is probably on to the classroom. Dia, you are right here. So, did you phone home? No, I won't. So I'll go back to the routine. Okay, so, Alyssa? Are you into the process? You're in, right? Jaden, I gave him this code, kind of, you know, he got in. Okay, yeah, okay? Yep, all right, so, just so you know, did you get it, Alyssa? Alyssa, did you get the code? Yeah, so I can take it off. So sexually transmitted infections is here. So the PowerPoint is here, everything's here. And then now we're on birth control, and we're going to do this new PowerPoint. But for just a quick recap for the kids who weren't here, you remember what the parasites were? The ones you get from sexual touching or intercourse? Yeah. Okay, who remembers the viral ones? Maybe the worst ones, because you can't do anything about them. HIV. What else? Viral, yes.
HPV.
HPV was, wasn't that bacterial? I'm pretty sure that, no, where is that one? HPV, is it here? Yes, there was 2 bacterial. Okay, there's one more here. Look at H2, if they all start with an H. Yeah. What B? Okay, bacterial. We pulled these out at the beginning class before we even did that. No. Syphilis. Gonorrhea.
Oh, gonorrhea.
Yeah. Gonorrhea. And
Chlamydia.
Fast. Okay, fungal. Who remembers? Yeah. So the warts actually are part of HPV. So you can have the wart variety or the one that causes cancer. Okay? So there's 2 types of HPV. But for the fungal ones, yeast infection, And this can be transmitted through stuff other than sex too, right? So there was yeast, and then there was pelvic inflammatory disease, right? And then there was trichomoniasis. And then there was vaginal back, vaginal back, something, bacteriosa or something. Okay, so how do we get rid of parasites? No, me, not the turn. How do we get rid of parasites? Answer one question. How do you get rid of parasites? And they give you medication, which is
Anti-inflammatory.
what do you do for head lice?
Medicine. Medicated. They put the cream. Ointments.
Shampoos,
Mayo.
creams. Okay, what do they do for bacterial infection?
Antibiotics.
Yeah.
Case you're serious.
Antibiotics. What do they do for fungal?
Cream.
Right. But these two, they use antibiotics. Okay, what about these guys? Are these ones, can you cure these? No. So they've got medication that can help control them. This is cancer. Okay, so I'm not going to write, they've got control. Yeah, that's all they can do. There's no cure. All right, so we're going to leave STIs right now. Except for, what's the number one only way that you can stay healthy and never get an STI?
Don't have sex.
Don't have sex.
Don't bust it down. Do not bust it down.
Needles, yeah.
What's the word one?
You can't share needles or tattoos or things like that. Now. No. Not peanut desk, please. I should have said something. All right. Sex. What means sex?
Tip, tip. In the hole.
Okay.
Rubbing.
Yes. Very good. All of that. So
Mouth to tip.
in other words, when you say abstinence can keep you healthy, you have to both be on the same page about what is sex, because it's not just penis and vagina, right? So it's genital rubbing, it's oral sex, anal sex, all of that.
Oh, in the butthole.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to move on? So birth control. Again, I'm going to start the lesson by saying, me giving this does not mean I say, go out and have sex. Just make sure you use people. That is not me. Okay? As a teacher or as a human being. Because as I told you yesterday, I was raised Catholic. Catholics aren't even supposed to use any birth control at all. You're supposed to be open to children always, and you only should have sex when you get married. So for me to teach this, I am not saying, hey, go out there, have as much sex as you want. This is not what this is. This is me assuming that one day you may have sex. And if you do, these are the options out there if you don't want to have sex. Okay? So I am not saying go have sex. In fact, I would suggest you wait till you have a very loving relationship and you're mature and hopefully married. But that's my personal opinion. So get that out of the way. These are different pictures of different birth control methods. I was given this PowerPoint presentation. I was given this presenter by this is Nurse Miriam. She used to be the full-time nurse at our school, but she's now back at the health unit, but she said we could use her. So, we'll move on. Now, why would people hesitate to ask questions about birth control? So even when you're talking to this partner, it's awkward talking about STIs and birth control. So here's what it comes down to, though. You kind of have to ask yourself two questions. If I want to have sex or sexual touching with this partner, you step only like this, and I'm ready, I like this person, I love this person, whatever the case may be. Number one, do you want to get an STI? And number two, do you want to be pregnant at this time in your life? So even
He's not pregnant.
yeah, it's still part of the equation.
Yeah, but I want to be pregnant. That's the boy.
Okay. Even if you are, say, 28 years old, and you finally found somebody you want to be with for the rest of your life, and you love them, you still, even though you're monogamous to each other, you still have to find out what their previous partners were, because you don't know. They could be carrying stuff from a long, long time ago. Even though you're both in love now and you want to stay true to each other, you still have to find out what the past is, because you don't want to get an STI. And then you have to decide, do I want to have a baby yet? Now, if you're 28 and you're married and you have a career and you're all ready, sure. But at 15 years old, you may not be ready. I would suggest no. So, I mean, obviously, I would recommend abstinence, but if some people choose to engage in sexual behaviors, then you better have a plan for birth control. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want to get pregnant. So, let's go on. Did you know that an egg can only live for 24 hours? So, when a girl ovulates, she releases an egg. That is about the middle of the period, the month, okay? Not the period, the cycle. It only lives for, however, the sperm can live for 3 to 4 days. In a warm, moist environment like a girl's vagina. So they will live for a long time. So even if you haven't released an egg, if there are sperm swimming around in there, they can still climb up and go find that egg, right? Now, your birth control plan has to be personal and individual. You need to be prepared and you need to set limits and commit. And that's a big one. Because you're a party. Yeah, your inhibitions go away when you're
Sitting down at parties.
right. When you lose your drinking, you lose your inhibitions, or some of your inhibitions. So you're more likely to do things that you normally wouldn't do. So if you make this plan, you have to set limits and stick to it, and so does your partner. So you can't do things just because you're in the moment. You have to think and plan ahead. Abstinence is a lifestyle, so it's 100% effective in preventing pregnancy, and it's important to understand the partner's definition of abstinence. So if you get together with somebody and you guys really dig each other, and you say, well, I want to wait till I'm married to have sex, and he says, oh yeah, so do I, but he says that he doesn't think any of these are sex. So he's willing to do these other things. He can wait for marriage to have full intercourse, but he wants to do these other things. Well, guess what? They can spread STIs and they can also cause pregnancy because that sperm lives, right, for 3 to 4 days. So you have to both be on the same page about what to allow. Okay. here are your birth control options. Just like STIs, allergies. Just like STIs, when we have 4 categories, there are 4 categories here. Okay? Hormonal, that means hormones go into the girl's body. So progesterone, estrogen, or a combination of those hormones. Long term, there's an IUD and an IUS, and I'll tell you what those stand for in a minute. This is made of copper, which helps, it makes the uterus inhospitable to life. And IUS just releases hormones, so this actually can barrier, there are female condoms, male condoms, and spermicides. Spermicides kill sperm. It's a spray, like a form. And then morning after pill is an emergency form of contraception. Yeah.
You just shove foam up your pussy with spermicides.
Yeah, I would use those words in class, but yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Is that the way you do it? Is that the way you do it?
I've never read those instructions actually. I don't know. I've never used that. Okay, remember I learned all this. I remember the nurse who came in to teach this when I was 22 years old in my first year teaching. I'll never forget. She would go, condoms, she had a box of condoms, and she had a foam spray of spermicide. Condoms plus foam, safe sex. That's what she did in class. All right, hormonal birth control. These ones tend to be the most common, I would say, in people who are in long-term relationships. So I would say the barrier methods are more, they're cheap, right? So I think that younger people not in stable relationships use them more. But these ones, you have to go to the doctor for all of them. And they all cost money, okay, some more than others. But they're all 98 to 99% effective if you follow the instructions. So Melanie, if you're reading that for English, do you know all this information already?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to get part of it? Okay. So the pill, the patch, the ring, and Depo-Provera. Okay. Now the advantages of taking a hormone is you don't have to do anything before sex, unlike a condom, so you have to put it on. The menstrual regulation happens automatically when you're on the birth control pill. So if you have erratic cycles or really heavy cycles, if you cycles 4 weeks, always. It can control acne, because remember I said that hormones are one of the reasons you can get acne, not the only reason, and less worry, okay, about being pregnant. The disadvantages, there are health risks. They're rare, but there are health risks. So blood clots and stroke, especially those who smoke. So it's quite common. It's more common with people who smoke. It's still a rare side effect. There can be medication interactions, so you have to check with your pharmacist. I mean, for the birth control pill, there are over 50 varieties of pills. So if there is an interaction with something you're on, they can find something else to put you on. There can be irregular bleeding or breakthrough bleeding, and you do need a prescription. If there is breakthrough bleeding, they're going to change. They're going to give you a different prescription. So it's either too strong of a pill or too light of a pill. And you want to find the perfect one where you don't have any bleeding in between and you get your period on time. Okay? So they just change the pill or change the strength until they find the perfect one for you. All right. So the pill has to be taken every day, and you need to take it at about the same time every day. So regardless of whether you have sex or not, you have to take it for 21 days in a row, and then you take 7 placebos. They're made of sugar. So if you don't want to take them, you don't have to, because that's the week you're supposed to get your period. So you take them every day for 3 weeks, and then a week of your period, and then you start a new pack over again. Okay? They can reduce menstrual flow, as we said. You have regular cycles. They do actually reduce certain cancers, but then they do increase the risk for other cancers, so the balance out. And it can help with acne if causes more particular acne. This is for girls, of course, not boys. The cause cost is $20 to $50 per month. This was done pre-COVID, so I don't know if the cost has gone up yet or not. I have no idea. Now, common questions and mistakes. It's time sensitive. Yes, all right, you promise it's going to be good? Okay. So, what happens if I still haven't had my period, but the 7 days are up and it's time to start my new pack? Take it anyway, okay? Now, if this happens, like if you just received a prescription and you're trying it, your doctor's gonna probably get you to try the same pills for 2 or 3 months. Just let your body get used to it, okay? But if after 2 or 3 months you're still not getting your period, or you've got breakthrough bleeding, go to your doctor because they'll change the prescription. Okay, they want to get the perfect one for your body. So, what happens if your period starts while you're taking your pills? Take them anyway. Take them as directed always. What happens if you forget a pill? You're supposed to take 2 the next day after you remember. If you forget to take 2 pills in a row, you take 2 the next day and 2 the next day. All right? Now, that means if you messed up and you're taking 2 the next day, 2 the next day, that the effectiveness goes down. All right? So you have to be aware that there's a little bit more of a chance of getting pregnant if you mess up, if you don't take them at the right time or you forget. Okay? The other thing to remember is about antibiotics. If you are sick and you have to go on antibiotics, some antibiotics can interfere with the effectiveness of some different things. So you may want to use one or another method of birth control if you're taking an antibiotic. All right, next one. I think I'm pregnant, but I'm taking birth control. Will it hurt your baby? No, not for a short period. So by the time you figure out that you're pregnant, of course you'll stop taking birth control. There can be side effects, and depending on how bad they are, you might want to change the pill. So you have to go to your doctor. But again, he or she will probably want you to stay on the same pill for 2 or 3 months just to figure it out. But if you have bloating, spotting, headaches, breast tenderness, and nausea that are really bad, you should go to the doctor because they'll give you a different pill that is more suited for you. Okay? All right. Contraceptive patch. So, typical use, 92% effective, and perfect use, 99.7% effective. So what you have to do is put this somewhere between your shoulders and your thighs, but not on your breasts. This patch contains hormone, the same hormone that's in the pill. And you put it on for 3 weeks straight. And then after 3 weeks, you take it off, have your period, and then put a new one on after that. Okay? So you do it, the pill you take every day, this one you put it on for 3 weeks, take it off for a week, put it back on. There's less worry because you're not monitoring every single day and worry about missing taking your blood. So there are less mistakes expected. The cost is the same as the pill, $20 to $50 per month. So here's what you do. Oh, sorry, I messed up. New patch each week, not every 3 weeks. So new patch at the beginning of week 1, new patch at the beginning of week 2, new patch at the beginning of week 3, no patch week 4, and then start again. Now the vaginal ring, or Nuva ring, is a flexible ring and it has hormones in the ring itself. Okay? So you have to insert it, and then what happens is it just releases hormones into your vagina. Okay? So it's the same cost. It's $20 to $50 per month, and it's the same effectiveness, 92%. Okay? And this is the one that you only need to put in once a month, and then during the period it comes out, and then you can stay with it. Now this one you have to get done at a doctor's office, and it's a little more expensive. It goes right into your muscle. Okay, so it's hormones that go into your muscle, and you only need to do it every 10 to 12 weeks. So it lasts for 3 months at a time. But you do have to do this at the doctor's office, okay? There are some women that will not take estrogen for whatever reason. This one is not estrogen, it's progesterone, so it's good for them. Now, I like this chart because it summarizes the different forms of hormonal birth control. So, pills every day, patch once a week, ring every 3 weeks, depot once every 3 months. So, it depends on what you want for practicality, okay? They're all as effective as each other, except Depo is a little bit more effective because you don't have to do anything. You get a shot and then you do nothing. So, delivery swallowed through the skin, vaginal absorption, and through the muscle. And then options, there are more than 50 pills. There's only one type of patch, one type of ring, and one type of pill. Any questions about those hormone methods? No? Okay. Moving to the next part, the barrier methods. They're the cheapest, but I would say the least effective, I guess. So they create a physical or chemical barrier. So advantages, well, there's no health risks. They're pretty cheap. In fact, the health unit even gives them for free if you want. They're good for those who have infrequent sex. The disadvantages is you have to do it every time for it to be effective. Some people have allergies to latex, so they have to get a different kind of condom, and they're a little bit more expensive. And you have to be comfortable to touching your own body or your partner's body. So you have to put that condom on before you have sex. Okay. The male condom, rarely it comes in different colors. And it's just a sheath that covers the penis. It also protects you against STIs. It's cheaper, easily accessible, and they are available in polyurethane if you have a latex allergy. And if you use lubricants, you're supposed to use water-based lubricants because otherwise, if they're not water-based, they could break oil in the condom. Okay? What makes them so special? Dual protection against birth control and STIs. And they're cheap. $16 or free. Questions about male condoms? Okay, this does not work. It used to work. Oh, you didn't want to watch that? No. Okay, female condoms. They are a polyurethane pouch that lines the vagina and catches semen. Yes. Just wait until he says. Single caller. She's right here. Tell me she can. They're only one use, and they can be used with other birth control for dual protection, and again against STIs, okay, and HIV. And they're pretty cheap, not as cheap as the male condoms. Now, a spermicide, here's to answer your question, it's a chemical substance inserted into the vagina to kill or inactivate sperm. So they must have some kind of insertion thing that lets you spray it inside. And it comes cream jelly, sperm, volume, depository. It comes in various forms. And it's very effective in using other methods. So you never use this alone by itself because it's not very effective by itself. But with condoms, it's effective. And it also offers protection against bacterial infections too. So syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia, and stomatitis, now, the long-term methods. There are IUD and IUS. Now, IUD stands for intrauterine device. Okay, it's a little T-shaped thing, and it has copper all over it. And so when it's inserted, you can get your doctor to insert it. You bend these flexible things, insert it into the vagina, and then it spreads out once it's in the uterus, okay? The intrauterine system contains hormones. So when it goes in, it releases hormones just like the Depo-Provera or whatever, okay? Now, with this one, it's kind of like spontaneous abortion, because what it does is the copper irritates the lining of the uterus, so the uterus does not make a nice comfy place for a baby to grow. So if the egg does fertilize and drop into the uterus, it doesn't attach itself to the uterus. This one though is hormonal, so it just doesn't allow anything to develop or grow. So this is a picture of what it looks like inserted, and the strings hang down so that you can take it out. And this copper one can stay in for up to 5 years, and the IUS, it can stay in for up to 5 years. That's amazing that it releases documented hormones for so long. So it's a long-term contraceptive. It has no effect on breast milk, low maintenance, and it's an effective alternative.
I wrote down
Okay. Cost for the copper one, $100. Cost for the silver one, $329. And again, here's a picture of how it's inserted. Now, this emergency contraceptive, also known as the morning after pill, it delays or prevents ovulation and works as a plus 5 days. So what it means is, if you take it right away, no egg will be released. So the sperm that's in you cannot fertilize them, and egg because it is no egg. Okay? If you wait and don't take it within the first 24 hours, then the effectiveness will go down. So if you take it between 1 and 24 hours after sex, it's 95% effective. 25 to 48 is 85% effective. 49 to 17 is only 58% effective. So you don't want to wait. And I believe, yeah, it says $20 to $40. It's cheapest if possible. I think any pharmacy will also do. Yeah, I think if you went to the hospital, but I don't know. When choosing a method, make sure, just like STIs, you know what you're doing, because there's a whole lot out there, as this PowerPoint just demonstrated. Make sure you communicate with your partner. So just because, you want to just have some drinks and go have sex, that's not how it works. If you want to stay healthy and not have a baby, you have to talk, okay, and figure out what you're going to do, and be prepared. So should this just be the girl's responsibility? Because everything on this thing was for the girl. Oh, except for condoms. That's right. So the guy, especially, he may not be the one that carries the baby, but if you impregnate somebody, it's your responsibility just as much as it's the girl's responsibility for life. So you got to take this pretty seriously. In school, there are consequences for all of your actions, your behaviors, what you study and don't study. With sex, the consequence is a disease or a baby. So you better be prepared. You just don't go out there and do it all the time. If you end up doing this. Okay? That's my real talk. And remember, having sex with some people, they think it's a very natural thing that you should do whenever you feel like it. And then other people say, no, it's only for someone you really love and want to spend the rest of your life with. And usually people are somewhere in between there. Whatever is your personal belief, remember that it's a very intimate action. Like it will affect you for the rest of your life. So think carefully about what you believe before you just decide to make the decision. Okay? Okay, and as with STIs yesterday, you can get free pregnancy testing, counseling, birth control info, STI info, and school presentations.